guys.
Hello, friends.
Welcome back to Where Are We Growing?
Plants, plants, plants.
That is not what I was expecting to come out of your mouth.
Oh, what did you think I was going to say?
I don't know. Not that.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I should have said pests.
Pests.
Yeah, because it's part 2 of Pest Week. We need sound effects because I just keep making the sound effects.
We really do need a soundboard where we can.
Or let us know, you guys, if you like sound effects coming from my mouth. We can keep it low key. What is it? Lo-fi? Lo-fi? That's like low production, I think.
I think you're right. I think it stands for low fidelity.
Yes. If you want to keep it low-fi, low-key. I hate us. Well, we are 2 pests of people. Yeah. So today we are going more in depth talking about those icky little creatures that like to plague our pests and stress us out. Mm-hmm. It's the worst. It's, like we said, the worst part about plant ownership, and it ruins your self-esteem. But it shouldn't ruin your plant parenthood and your plant journey, because we all get pests.
Yeah. And
it's normal. So, first things first, what do you do when you bring a pest home?
Well, I usually don't notice I bring a pest home until months later, and then I go, "Oh, yes, that's what that was? Okay, cool."
Yeah, they can hitch a ride. It just takes a few eggs, a little larva, just a little pizzazz, to start a little family, a little party on your plant. Pest party. They're all on your plant, like, and you're like crying over it, and they're like, ooh.
Have you ever had a double pest infestation where 2 different types of pests are on the same plant?
Well, I just talked about how my Rojo Congo had a mealy bug on it when it was battling scale, which I'm pretty sure are in the same like family of, like, if you're talking insects, I think that they're kind of related.
Yeah. Well, we just learned that whiteflies are related to both of them.
Yeah, and aphids, and so, yeah, we looked them up because we haven't had whiteflies. We haven't had a few, pests that exist out there, but obviously we want to kind of know what things are. But apparently whiteflies can leave some sappy residue, just like our other friends. Ugh.
Sticky.
And I will say, when you're bringing a pest home, that keep in mind that greenhouses do the best they can to monitor pests. Like, they usually have something that they sprinkle on them, like preventatively or whatever, but they don't have the time to inspect leaves. So, if you bring one home from a greenhouse, often you can bring it back and they'll give you a new one sometimes. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that. I've heard of other friends that have had to do that.
Yeah, I've never really had to.
They usually can work with you on it, but just be mindful. If it's one little thing, in your experience, I mean, if you're, you know who I'm talking to, you know who you are. We deal with it. It's fine. There are some people that kind of take it out of control.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So just be mindful. They're doing the best they can. It is a little bit different with, plant sellers online that have a lower amount of plants and are kind of better at monitoring that. And
yeah, absolutely.
Those, sometimes people think they're kind of, no excuses for that. I haven't ever dealt with a pest coming in the mail, I don't think.
A plant that I sold, and they were like, "Oh, there was a pest on it." And it was like, "Oh, yes, there was a pest on it when it arrived." I would do everything in my power to amend it, just because I think as an individual seller or a very small business, you have the time and the effort to be able to check over these plants and make sure they're okay when you're just shipping out.
Yeah, and you're looking at them and inspecting it before it goes in the box, essentially, too. Greenhouses, they don't see the plant before when you're going home with it, Even, the cashier that's, checking your plant out, have fun, bye. They might not see anything. Yeah. And that's not their job to be pest inspector. They're just checking people out, And often the people that are checking out are working at some of these greenhouses don't exactly know about houseplant pests.
Yeah.
And,
And a lot of times, they don't even know about houseplants. A lot of times, greenhouse employees just know about the outdoor stuff.
Yes, a lot of greenhouse employees are just well-versed in the outdoor gardening life, not really houseplants. So, yeah, be mindful of that. But when you bring a pest home, obviously, if you're going to go into battle with this pest and you're like, okay, this is my fight now.
The hill you're gonna die on.
keep it away from your plants. Hopefully that goes without saying. And we'll go more into depth with the treatments and stuff. But when you randomly find a pest in your home, also it's important to quarantine those away from everything else around it, and also to inspect the plants around it and treat those as well. That's really not a bad idea, especially with pests that like fly around. Scary. But yeah, there's some that can easily, especially if you're like us and we have plants leaf to leaf, it is not hard for those little creatures to jump from plant to plant at all.
Sometimes they don't even need to jump.
Oh yeah, they're just like, oh, another one? Thank you. This is different. Fun little vacay.
Second course.
Icky, ick. Well, let's go through the list of kind of the common plant pests. We've touched on these a couple times before, but let's go in depth a little bit here. First of all, spider mites. We've dealt with that. Mm-hmm. That is
many times
one of the most common pests, I think, out there for houseplants. And they're pretty easy to identify, too.
Yeah. They'll have the little webbing. You can tell it's not a spider because spider webs are a little bit thicker and they have bigger holes, where spider mite webs are super, super small.
Very fine.
And it's not like there's, like, cross-stitching in them as much. It's more like total, like, mesh webbing.
Yes. It's not often that you'll see just, like, one strand unless you're, like, really catching it. And it's very tiny, too. Yeah. It's very fine. And you'll see the little mites, too, usually white.
They're pretty quick.
Yeah, they are. I'm swatting fungus gnats as we talk, by the way. How fun. The little pest dance. If I'm ever wondering if there's a pest on my plant, I'll often, like, just give it a little blow. Like, that sounds bad. Just go, like, real quick on the plant and see if things start crawling around, because it'll wake them up often. And that's actually how I found out that I had thrips on the one plant. Is I was like, what's that? And I blew on it and it started crawling. And I was like, oh no, absolutely not. So yeah, sometimes they might not be moving right before your eyes immediately, but that's a little tech.
Spider mites are usually the ones that are constantly moving. Yes. I feel like most of the rest will chill, but spider mites are just like, they got places to be.
Yeah, they're on the go. They're very quick. And they infest a plant fast.
Yes.
Like we mentioned last episode, check under those leaves, you guys. That's where they start to form. You'll see their little eggies and almost little, like, webbings. Are you cracking your toes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Delicious.
Constant cracks.
But mealybugs. Have you had mealybugs? Yes, you just had mealybugs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Had them on calatheas, staghorn ferns.
I think I've only seen them around like 2 or 3 times. I've only had them like really bad ones.
They do gross me out so much.
It's weird to me how they can look so different though, like different sizes.
Yes. And like how some just look like a poof. Like some just look like a fuzz, and then others are like
others
creepy
you can
crawly bugs.
See. Yeah, others I don't know if it's different stages of life or something, but yeah, some of them you could straight up see the whole bug and the legs and the antenna and everything, the whole thing to draw it. And other times, you can look up little like time lapses too. Maybe we'll share some of these to like our stories this week of little creepy crawlies. I'll find some. And they can be really small, mealybugs. And on some time lapses, you can see them like crawling around the outside of your pot. So, yeah, there's a good tip, guys. Make sure you're cleaning the outside of your pot too. If you're keeping your plant in the pot, which is fine. Often we treat plants in the pot. We don't always repot plants when there's a pest. Often you don't always have to. But make sure you're washing the outside of the pot too, and also like treating that, because they'll hang out there and wait to attack until later.
I'll usually, when I'm using like a neem oil spray, I'll like just spray the whole pot, whole soil. I'll just douse it all.
Yeah, you have to be thorough with a lot of these guys, because pests are very small, and in their different stages of life they can look very different, and almost microscopic. Sometimes you can't even see them, and you just have to like assume that they're there and wipe the whole thing down. Mealies, not fun. Yeah, usually the cottony looking things. They love Hoyas. Mm-hmm. That's why Hoyas freak me out. Like if you have the Hindu rope, those when they get mealies, ooh, can you imagine getting scale on that thing?
No.
Oh,
throw the thing away.
Yep. Goodbye. Chuck it. Oh, speaking of chucking plants, it's perfectly fine to chuck your plant.
Absolutely.
If you are more important than your plant. Okay, first of all, we are a plant podcast, but we also love plant people. Your health is more important than your plant's health. And if it's stressing you out to no end and you really, really do not want to treat this plant, it is okay to throw it away.
Toss it. Or give it to someone who wants to treat it.
Yeah, there are some people that'll take rehab, but make sure you are letting them know that there's a pest. Do not just say, oh, I'm trying to get rid of this plant, and then just stick someone with a pest problem. Do not do that. We're trying to make good plant people here, okay? So when I hear that my followers are on some fuckery, I get really, embarrassed. Why do I feel responsible? I'm like, I did
not.
Be
a good plant person. Come on.
Be aware of your actions. Your actions have consequences. Anyone could get that meme when I said it. Just me. Some people got it. But yes, scale. We talked about scale quite a bit in the last one. And I will be posting some fun pictures of it, of course. Yeah, it is icky.
Gross.
It can be on pretty much anything, too. Just like mites can be on almost anything. Scale will take to anything.
Yeah.
But it's not, I don't know of any plant that I'd say that, maybe sometimes cacti, but I wouldn't say that there's a pest that's prone to it like there are with spider mites.
Yeah. Have you noticed any of your plants with scale? Have you noticed the scale before it became the adult form where it was moving around as a juvenile?
Nope. I always notice it when it's too late. It's far gone. What the hell was that?
I don't know. It sounded like a bell.
I heard a ding ding. I'm sure it's just my cat climbing all over things. One day there's going to be a rodent in my apartment.
Don't say that. Don't put that into the world.
I swear. It feels a little bit cluttery in here, and it seems like the people that party in my building would attract said. And we're in the city. There's probably rodents around.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we're near the river. Anywho. We're not talking about animals. We're a plant podcast. But we're talking about buggies. Have you ever had aphids?
No. I always wanted to see aphids as a kid. Aphids really intrigued me because I wanted to see ladybugs eat them, but I've never actually laid eyes upon an aphid. Well, I'm sure I will now that I said that and put it into the world. I'm sure my plants are being currently devoured by aphids.
Oh. Check the stems. I don't know. Whenever I see pictures of aphids, they're always on the stems and petioles of plants. So yeah, if you've had aphids, hit our DMs and show us a fun pic. Actually, you know what? Send us any pest. We will put it on your story. Okay, please put it on your story and tag us, and we will share it in our story. Por favor, please. I don't know. Hashtag Pest Week.
Hashtag Pest Week.
Hashtag Pest Week. Please tag us. We will share all of your pest pictures. And it doesn't have to be a current pest. I mean, that's fine. If it's one you currently have, I'm sorry. But past pictures is what I'm thinking. I'm not getting excited about your current pest problems. But I do get excited when people send me pest pictures, though. Not in the form of oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. But when my friends are like, hey, I'm treating this, I figured you'd want to take a look. I'm like, ooh, juicy. It's almost as good as a new leaf. Look at that. So good. And I'm just like, ooh, glad it's not me. Love it. It's bad. But no, I haven't had aphids either. Every time I see them, they almost look like little orangey, yellowy
things. Bad infestations, how they're all crawling out.
Oh, they're all, they're on top of each other.
Gross.
Yeah, it makes me shiver. Yucky yuck. Thrips are a houseplant parent's nightmare, I think.
It's so funny when people post oh, I think I have thrips, and they'll post a picture and people in the plant groups are like, just throw all your plants away, it's not worth it.
Everyone's like, good luck, bye. Throwing up peace signs in the Hunger Games or whatever. Good luck, babe. Yeah, thrips are, and I'll tell you why they are difficult or known for being difficult, you listening. if you're not aware, they fly in their adult form, which is what makes them really like
no
tough.
One's safe.
No one's safe. They will fly from plant to plant. They love like fresh foliage, like all the plants that I have around me that are like leafy. I think they just love that like nice foliage, like monstera leaves, you know, like stuff like that. I feel like do they go on everything? I feel like I always see people posting them on stuff like philodendrons.
I see, mostly on philodendrons is what I see people posting about.
And they're tiny. First of all, they're tiny in their adult form, and I will post the video of the one that I had found, and we'll post other ones. But you can hardly see them at all when they're babies or when they're eggs or larvae or whatever. They are so incredibly small, impossible to see. And their life cycle is pretty long too. So if you're not on top of it, treating, it can get bad and spread. And someone told me that I could take out a whole collection.
Yeah. There was someone who, on some Facebook group I was in, they lost all of their plants and like just posted about it. It was so cool because all these people like came together and were like, oh my God, like let us know what you lost. And we're like trying to restock their collection because it was decimated.
Plant people are so nice. It's awful. No one wants to deal with a pest. And thrips in particular, you really have to be vicious with the treatments, because usually like something like neem oil is not really going to do it. They are kind of like on the inside of the leaf more, like it's not just like on top, like they're really in there, so you got to be treating the plant from the inside out. So usually a systemic is what you have to do for thrippies, which is not fun because obviously systemic kills all the good stuff in your plant. So a lot of people try and stay away from that unless you absolutely have to. And also, I'm pretty sure systemic makes like it more toxic for your pets.
Yes, it does.
If you have a plant,
you should not use systemic on anything you plan on eating.
Yes. And is it true that systemic stays in the plant forever then? Like it's just in the plant's like genes basically? But the way that it works then is it's like because the systemic's in the plant, basically the plant treats the pest from the inside out. Then it's not like you're topically treating the plant. People with thrips will be like, oh, I wiped it down, and it's like it has to be something a little bit more intense than, you know, soap and water for thrips. And it's usually something that people don't have on hand either. I didn't have systemic when I had thrips. I had to wait to have someone else help me out. So.
Yeah. I feel like I should buy some just to have it on hand.
Yeah, and I'm not someone who has hydrogen peroxide around. Hydrogen peroxide is something that you can use in your soil for treating many things. And I think that kills a lot of stuff too. Yeah. But it bubbles up and you can watch things die.
Yeah. But also kills the good stuff too, because I use hydrogen peroxide in my fish tank to treat stuff once in a while, but it kills all your good bacteria.
It doesn't kill your fishies at all?
No.
That's good.
It's good. It's invertebrate and fish safe.
Invertebrate safe. Yep, thrips, not fun. Would you say that that's probably the worst pest you could get?
Yeah, I would say that's probably top of the list.
Yeah. What do you think is like the easiest one to treat, not counting like fungus gnats?
I would say probably spider mites, because
too.
Depending on the infestation, you can just rinse off a plant.
Yes.
It's good.
They're not really, like they can get all over it, but they're not like stuck on that plant. They're not like... Yeah, it doesn't take much to get rid of mites. But you do have to be like, it doesn't always take just one treatment though. You kind of have to go in like maybe like 2 or 3 times, and then you can be dunsies. Yeah. Sometimes you can get it one if you're really good, but don't be shocked if like, oh my God, I treated it. Why are they back? Like, it's usually not one and done.
It's an uphill battle.
Yep. Sorry about it. We have never had leaf miners. You just learned about them for the first time. Googling. Do you want to tell people what you learned?
Well, they're a larva stage of quite a few different bugs that aren't necessarily pests, but the larva will eat your plant from the inside out.
They burrow in the leaves.
They leave behind little discolored trails in your plant, which I have seen it like in like trees and shrubs and stuff outside. But yeah, they just kind of eat away from the inside until they grow up, and then they turn into whatever bug they turn into, and they leave.
Yeah, they look like little squigglies on your leaves. And didn't the website say that you can just cut the one leaf off that's infested?
Because apparently they just stick to one spot. They're not like other pests that are like
curious and make a home of your plant. They're just like, one leaf is good for me. Which obviously, if you have some of those uncommon plants that you get as like 1 or 2 leaves, it's sad to let go of a whole leaf. Other times when you have a whole basket of leaves, 1 leaf, goodbye, and it doesn't hurt too much. What else is out there?
Got white flies, which we've never had.
We have not had white flies. But we kind of know what they look like. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
White flies. They kind of resemble like little white moths.
Yeah. Even though they aren't flies, but as we found out.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about white flies?
Well, they are another flying pest. They're bigger, though. They're not as tiny as, like, thrips are.
Yes, you can see them a lot easier.
They have kind of, like, a powdery white look to them. And apparently they like to... They'll fly away, and then they'll kind of come back to wherever they were. So you can, like, the blow test, see if little white things come up.
Yeah, see if they go fly away. I started singing a song in my head immediately after that. And then I was about to sing it out loud, and I realized we're on a podcast. You probably don't want to hear that. Anywho.
This isn't American Idol.
Oh my gosh. So lately people have been messaging me pictures of like beetles that they find in their plants. Have you ever found beetles in your plants?
No, but there was a beetle in Sam's shirt yesterday or the day before, and then I got on my bed. Yeah, we were outside and there were so many bugs because we were like just doing a whole bunch of like repotting and stuff, and then all of a sudden there was a beetle and it flew into my tetrasperma and I was like, smush.
Ew. Yeah, my friend Mari, shout out Mari, hi, who did our pictures, our photographer, has been dealing with like beetles in her home, and she said that they like are awake at night only and like not during the day, this like specific beetle. I don't know if it's the plant beetle that people usually get, but I have like heard from a couple people as of late finding little beetles. Gross. No, thank you. Yeah, we're not, like I established, I'm not a bug person.
We're not entomologists.
Yeah, no. Ick. However, I'm getting more into lizards, though. I'm fine with, like, little, like, creepy crawly, like...
Have you had an anole on any of your plants?
But I don't think I would freak out because they're cute.
Well, they're fast.
Yeah.
And then Kai would get it.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd be a mess.
It would be a mess.
It'd be a bloodbath.
You know what is more gross than an anole?
Frogs.
Oh, yes. Actually, did I send you that TikTok of the frog that someone found? They found a big toad in their plant.
Oh.
And I thought of you because I was like, does Brandon hate frogs? I thought I had remembered that you said that.
Well, remember I found that frog in that plant from Home Depot?
Mm-hmm.
And then I smushed it.
You smushed it?
I was trying to save it, and then how do you not remember this?
Wait, tell me again.
So I was like repotting a Maranta in my room, and then all of a sudden a frog jumped out of it, like a little baby frog. Remember, I was like Snapchatting, and I was like,
I think I do.
And it was like all over my room, and then I tried to like scoop it out, but I think I like scooped its leg, and it went.
I literally feel like this was amongst like so many other things that happened. It just seemed like stuff like this happens to Brandon every day.
Yeah, it's a nonstop event.
Yuck. I don't think I'd freak out too much. There's a little froggy. I think froggies are kind of cute. Amphibian little things don't freak me out too much.
Well, it freaked me out because it looked like those poisonous tree frogs. And I was like, what if it's one of those poisonous frogs from whatever country this came from?
I don't like big fat ones, though. That's too much slimy blubber.
Yeah.
Blech. Gross. And some of them are also so fast. Like frogs.
Yeah.
Very fast.
I used to, as a kid, like touching frogs, too. I was touching bugs, touching frogs. Is
it true that toads give you warts?
No. But
why did I think that was a thing?
A lot of toads have poison in their skin. Like, if a toad looks bubbly, stay away.
You heard it here first, you guys. Don't touch bubbly toads. Oh my gosh, we're just getting so many life lessons around here. I love it. Well, I think that's it for like the pests that we're gonna cover, and we covered our easiest and worst pests. Where do you go for like pest information?
I feel like the pest information for the most part is pretty easily Googleable.
Yes.
Like I feel like
That's
it's like the one part of plant care that's like very standardized.
That is the one thing that you can kind of easily Google. You can't find out what your plant is or the care very much. But pests are there's a lot of stuff on Google.
Yeah.
I forget that. I usually ask a lot of my plant friends in particular for like product recommendations.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, well now I got to treat and go buy whatever. And it's like, well, which one do I get? There's so many different spray things. So what do you think is like a good, I think we touched on this a couple episodes ago, but what are the things that we need to have on hand for pest treatment?
Alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, neem oil, systemic if you feel like things are going to get
crazy.
I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, insecticidal soap. I like the Dr. Bronner's peppermint. I think that's all I have. And it's, for the most part, worked very well for me.
That's good. Good stuff. I don't have a lot on hand for me.
Although I do need to invest in gallon jugs of alcohol and hydrogen peroxide, because when I do use those, I go through it so quick.
Yeah, it's like...
It's only like $3 on Amazon for a whole gallon.
I don't know, for a little bit, hydrogen peroxide, I don't know if it was because of during the pandemic, but it was very...
Oh, yeah, and alcohol.
Hard. It was hard to get. There was none of it. And us plant people were like, what are we supposed to do?
Literally.
Us, like, it's one of the niches or hobbies that, like, you don't exactly, like, buy all your stuff at the plant store, you know?
And then it's hard, too, because a lot of plant stores, they all carry different things. It's like there's no one place you can go and there's everything you need. Yeah. I'm like, oh, gotta go to Home Depot, gotta go to the greenhouse, gotta go here, gotta go there. I'm like, oh my God, like, bleh.
You know, we need plant stores. You need to start carrying some better selections of pest control. I do love people have little like sections that says PhD, plant health, something, I forget what it's called. It's cute, little sections. So more of those, please. More help. But yeah, there's a lot of information out there for pest issues.
One tip, if you're using a chemical pesticide, make sure it's safe for indoor use.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Because a lot of stuff that when it says for plants, they don't know you're doing it inside. Because there are plant growth usually is occurring out in nature. So they're not used to us doing all the stuff inside yet. So be careful out there, kids. Do you think that about wraps up our pest week? We've kind of done all we can do.
Beating a dead horse at this point.
I'm like grossed out at this point, and now I'm like scared to go look at my plants.
Same.
I feel like we just spoke it into existence. Do we have like a question, review, or something that you want to?
Oh my God, a review! I forgot. We probably have more reviews too, but we do have a question in our Instagram DMs.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hit me with it.
This one is okay. This one is from Ashley Kelly. Oh, she's so cute. Hey guys, big fan of the podcast and can't wait for more episodes. This will be a good question for you. I just bought a LECA kit, a LECA starter kit, and it's my first time ever trying LECA. I'm super excited, but I need y'all's help deciding what plant to start with. I have a Rhaphidophora, a Hartley philodendron, or an arrowhead plant that all need to be repotted. What plant would do best in LECA?
It's a tough one. I would say like if like those would all I think do pretty well. But I would say if it's like one of your first ones, I'd probably start with the arrowhead or the tetrasperma. Or did it just say Rhaphidophora? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
To tetrasperma. Because I do have a tetrasperma in LECA. It loves it. I don't know if I have any like Syngonium arrowheads or whatever in them yet. But they are, your standard aroid. They would love it. It would probably be a little bit easier to handle than the heartleaf. I'm assuming your heartleaf is huge, though, which it might not be. But all those plants sound really great. I think they would all thrive in LECA. So, but yeah, I feel like I would go for tetrasperma or arrowhead. And yeah, what else you got for us, Brandon, before we go?
Looking at reviews here. I can't remember which ones I've said.
Oh, great.
I don't think we've read this one. Here, how about you read this one? It's the one that says, so much fun. Or wait, did we read this one?
I don't know.
No, I don't think we did.
You want me to read it? Okay. So much fun. I absolutely adore Nicole and Brandon. They are both so kind and knowledgeable. It is so easy to listen to their banter and get great tips on how to not kill my plant babies. Also super friendly on social media. Really appreciate their transparency about their journeys, and I'm so excited to keep listening. XOXO. Aw, thank you. It says from Angel Face, so thank you, Angel Face, with 2 E's and an exclamation point. Love you. You're very cute. I can't see you, but I know you are.
Oh. Well, where can we find Nicole on the social media?
You can find Nicole on TikTok at Nicole Larson with an extra N at the end. You know, at some point we should try and say it for each other someday.
Oh my God, we should.
That'd be so funny, but not right now. So Nicole Larson with extra N at the end, like I said in the last episode. In my link tree, you can find Patreon and plant consultations and stuff. And then my Instagram is Nicole, Nayyycole. What about you, Brandon? Where can people find Brandon?
I am Branaconda with an underscore between the BR and the anaconda.
Branaconda.
On the TikTok and the Instagram. My YouTube is Brandon Botanical. Botanical or Botanicals? Botanical.
I don't know.
I think it's just Sal.
No clue.
Anyway,
I saw you front and center on your website.
It looks bad on the phone. I need to switch. I need to figure out how to make the banner. Because, like, I designed the website for good look on a computer.
It says, check out my YouTube. And I was like, well, I thought that Samantha was also part of Munster.
Gotta have the self-promo. That shameless promo.
You should just say, check out Brandon's YouTube. Oh, my good Lord.
Well, also... if you guys, this will have already passed, but this weekend was a Twin City houseplant event.
Yes, so this would have already happened. It was so much fun.
And I created some podcast promo for the Monstera booth.
Oh my God, cute.
Yeah, so that'll be.
To see what that is. Surprise.
And I just made our thing into like a poster, so.
I love it. Yeah, we'll be dancing around. So, and we're really excited to see your faces. We've already seen them when you've listened to this, but yeah, we are getting really excited for that.
We should have planned this ahead of time and figured out which episode. Okay, so when there's things coming up, we need to do more planning of when to speak it into existence.
Yeah, come see us. Yeah, we could have said it with Ryan because Ryan's going to be there too, our last podcast episode, and been like, come see us this weekend.
Whoops.
Planning ahead is not our forte. It's a miracle we get these up on time.
It truly is. I was in the shower today. I'm like, this is like the most consistency I have in my life is recording this podcast.
I love that I'm the structure that holds your life together. Too much pressure. It is the one thing that we do like weekly.
Yeah, on the same day, almost the same time.
It was off to a rocky start, but we are running. So we love it. So if you want to see you probably follow our Instagram, but yeah, that's where we're growing. Send us an email, review us on Apple Pod.
Yeah.
Do all the stuff.
We need more reviews. 5 stars, please.
We'll read it. Please and thank you.
We'll read it. Send us a question on email or in our Instagram DMs, which we're now going to check more often.
We check when we can. We can hardly check our DMs. I can't check mine.
Like, there's too many things to handle.
There's a lot. Yeah, we do have a lot.
Can you imagine being a social media manager and doing this like for like 5 companies or whatever at a time?
I cannot.
No.
I can't manage myself. So I don't know how people do it. I never want a manager though. No one will manage me. I will manage myself forever. Anyways.
Well, when you're rich and famous, you might think twice.
I'm just gonna like go hide in the woods. I'm like, I now have enough to like support myself and be sufficient. No more social. No more contact. Goodbye, society. Anyways, shout out if you've made it to the end of this. We love you. We hope you have a good weekend.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week for Philodendron Week, right?
Is it Philodendron Week?
I think so.
That's exciting.
You said it was. Okay, so maybe it might not be.
I'm pretty sure it is. I can't read your handwriting very well. Your handwriting is very crazy.
Doctory.
That's a good one. Sure. That makes
like
you feel
doctors
better.
have bad handwriting.
I was going to say like a child, but that's a different... that's 2 different things.
That child is probably more accurate.
Oh my god. I hear the music coming in, so that's a lie. I don't, but you do.
We'll catch you guys next week with whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, with words about plants. Bye.
Bye.